I'm not generally a peddler of alarmism on this channel. I don't think it's particularly productive to go down that road. However, I am somewhat alarmed by this information. There's a new COVID variant, I'm afraid, the B.1.1.529. I'm sure it'll get a new name soon. And it is apparently quite infectious. The new COVID variant with unusual constellation of mutations is already more dominant than Delta in South Africa. Oh, the Omicron. Thank you. The Omicron. That's actually extremely scary. Delta is nowhere near as scary sounding as Omicron. Anyhow, it's been found in South Africa, and I'm not a epidemiologist, so I don't know what words mean, but it's very scary. Okay, look at this chart. Look at how scary it is. Be scared. Really though, look at that. My God. Proportion of genomes. You can see the B11529 over there, sort of rapidly rising in prominence the way Delta did right there, which is, of course, not good. We've got this here. A new variant is spreading rapidly in South Africa and appears to be outcompeting other variants much faster than previous variants of COVID did. That's a bit spooky, I think, in my opinion, personally. It's not good. The Dow Jones has seen a significant downturn, I think about 1,000 points, possibly more by now, in reaction to this news. Stocks, oil dropped sharply on concerns over new COVID-19 variant. Now, I personally am not especially invested in the well-being of the stock market, but it's indicative of panic from our shareholders, which is indicative of a number of other things. So let's take a look at this Washington Post article, only 11 minutes old. That's as fresh info you're going to get from an article. A new variant of the coronavirus that causes COVID-19 is raising concern around the globe. South Africa on Thursday confirms that scientists here had detected a variant with a high number of mutations that could make it more easily transmissible. On Friday, the World Health Organization labeled it a variant of concern. You can probably guess from the term, but this just means that it's because there have been many COVID variants. This is just one we should be concerned about, hence the term. The classification, it is only given to 4 other variants thus far. It's been given the Greek letter designation Omicron, which is, again, very spooky. Flights have been shut down. Eric Topol, director of the Scripps Research Translational Institute, not entirely sure what that has to do with epidemiology, but I'm no scientist, says, this is the most concerning variant we've seen since Delta. And then we have more information. In South Africa, where just 35% of people are fully vaccinated, the variant has begun to spread rapidly. Rising caseload, low vaccination rate leading to a great number of cases. Several dozen cases have been identified in Botswana, Hong Kong, and Israel. Whoop, too late. But officials from a number of countries warn that the variant may be spreading undetected. The UK reported that while no cases have been detected there, the variant's large number of mutations are likely to be biologically significant. Scripps is a well-known hospital in San Diego. Oh, gotcha. Thank you. So this is all very spooky. Travel restrictions are already being put in place, quarantines, all that fun stuff. Now, somebody did just link me a Twitter thread saying that this is all media sensationalism. That's not impossible. When COVID-19 was first of concern back in late 2019, I also felt that way about COVID-19. This, I never released this video, thank Christ, but you can actually see somewhere back in the stream VODs, me going over some info on the coronavirus spreading in China, and me going like, this will be like the swine flu. This isn't even... They fearmonger about this every goddamn year. I did not release that as a video. Isn't that nice? Well, oftentimes it is just media paranoia, but sometimes it really isn't. Well, let's see. Let's take a look at this thread. If there's one thing I'm going to tell you today, it's to ignore the media and the clickbait headlines on this new variant. There is no plausible scenario. This will take us back to square one, and there's a lot of misinformation currently circulating. Working on a thread now. Just a friendly reminder. Um, Interesting, President Sunday. Despite what you might hear, there is yet to be a variant that isn't susceptible to the vaccines. Let's talk about, this is Omicron, clear up some misconceptions and talk about why it's unlikely it will evade vaccine-induced immunity. Wait, hold on. But hasn't Delta somewhat evaded vaccine-induced immunity? The original COVID variant was basically stopped by the vaccines, but Delta's been much more effective at punching through it. You're still much less likely to die or be hospitalized, but even the Delta variant was somewhat capable of moving through the initial round of vaccines. Yeah, I need to get my booster shot. Why are vaccines unlikely to fully evade... Oh, variants, sorry. Unlikely to fully evade vaccine-induced immunity. Vaccines are polyclonal. Gay words. Nice try. Let's get a few things straight. No one knows if it's more transmissible at this point. Seeing new is 500% more transmissible with no data and maybe a bad interpretation of a graph. Yes, someone is yanking your chain. It's not a new virus, it's a variant. I don't know how much I should trust this. I'm getting low reliability vibes from this. We know it's a variant. And the Delta was able to get through vaccines at least somewhat. Yeah. Who's this person? They have a furry avatar. Okay, it says they're a senior scientist at the Vaccine Research and Development. It doesn't say a center or anything like that. It just says Vaccine Research and Development. And it also says that they're a Scorpio. I don't know what the horoscope signs are. Sorry. I'll have to wait for an article on this one, I'm afraid. I couldn't really say otherwise. Let's see. The graph shows that Omicron looks dangerous because it has no competition. Let's see. Here we go. So we're saying that the figures with the threat of Omicron are being overstated because we are currently... Oh, yeah, let me just zoom that out so you can actually see the bit down there. Because they're currently experiencing very few cases in South Africa. To be fair, though, I don't know if this is really a rebuttal, even because this is how the other thing started, wasn't it? You know? You had other variants, then Beta, then Delta spikes up. I mean, this could very well spike up again, especially at this rate of increase. And the fact that there's now a 30% vaccination rate here, whereas back here there wouldn't have been, so you'd think, yeah. I don't know. I feel like this is something worth being a bit concerned about, personally. Somebody in chat is saying this person is trustworthy. We have Eric Feigl Ding, or Dr. Eric Ding, epidemiologist and health economist, senior fellow at the FA Scientists. And something Harvard. How nice. My God, the new variant being possibly 500% more competitively infectious is the most staggering stat yet. Also, the new variant has more than 2 times the number of bad spike mutations than Delta. Here's update. Well, that looks scary. Oh, well, he's posting this graph too, it seems. Well, here. I'm just going to say this. That's new, not Omicron. That's Omicron. That's it. There is, of course, this is absolutely a wait and see scenario. Okay, I'm not an epidemiologist, and we're dealing with headlines that are referring to information that is like 24 hours old. So I don't think anyone has a full understanding of what's happening right now. However, let's hedge our bets and prepare for the worst, okay? Let's assume, for the purposes of what I'm about to say, that there is a new variant that's on the way. It is too late to stop its global spread, and that it will be significantly more transmissible than previous variants, okay? I want to make a couple of points, okay? First of all, even if your infection was guaranteed, getting vaccinated still significantly decreases the likelihood of you needing to go to the hospital or dying. Massively so. even if you are to get COVID, the effects on your body will be much less severe, overwhelmingly so if you are vaccinated. So please get your vaccinations, get your booster shot. I need to get my booster shot. I don't leave the house that often, so I'm relatively safe, but still. Additionally, wear masks. Why is it important to wear masks, even in a scenario where it's virtually guaranteed everyone will get sick? Well, wearing masks slows the rate of transmission because it catches the microscopic bits of fluid that you expel from your mouth when you speak, cough, whatever, nose as well, sneeze, that sort of thing, which carry the coronavirus. And you want to slow the rate of infection because the more people get infected faster, the more our hospitals fill up. And the more our hospitals fill up, the more that A, people won't be able to get medical care they need if they need it, and B, you inhibit the functionality of these hospitals with regards to other things. Like right now, in some parts of the country, it's really difficult to get anything done at a hospital, not just coronavirus related stuff, anything. All the hospital beds are filled up with people who are sick with COVID. So what are you supposed to do if you have a stroke or some other ordinary medical condition? You have to travel a great distance. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes there are people who are dying in their homes because they can't. It is essential to slow the rate at which new people are infected. Hence, masks are so valuable. And trust me, I hate wearing them. I despise wearing them. I have a beard. It bunches up. It makes my mustache hairs curl inward and tickle my face, and it makes punches this bit, and then this bit flares out. It's dumb. I hate it, but it's socially useful, okay? Listen, if this Omicron variant is as bad as some seem to think it is, then our worst fears might be realized. That we might be dealing with an interminable element of life now, that this is just the new normal, a thing that we're just going to have to get used to, at least for a time. They can continue to provide us vaccines, and they can continue to give us booster shots, but it will never fully immunize us, especially if there are new variants coming about. But let me say this, okay? While things are looking a little bleak now, potentially, if the conditions I'm speaking of end up being true, I have a tremendous amount of faith in human ingenuity and in our capacity to solve problems that confront our species. Now, do I trust politicians, political systems? No, God, not with anything. But doctors, okay? Pharmaceutical technicians, engineers, the geniuses, the brightest minds of our generation working tirelessly to detect and respond to and eliminate disease. I do trust them. I do. Seriously, I do. The mRNA vaccine process is a spectacular thing, isn't it? Do you know how long it used to take to make vaccines? And then we were able to get one put out in what was it, 9 months? Was it less than 9 months? How long did it take? Not very long, not with the mRNA process, and they ended up being pretty remarkably effective too. There are issues with distribution, with the politics. There are issues with people who won't get vaccinated, and it's going to be a whole political talking point, and it's going to be a pain in the ass. Again, assuming what I'm saying is true. But humanity thrives best under times of crisis, you know? It's like how we get those big booms in technological innovation whenever there's a war on. You know, World War II, bad stuff. Wouldn't want to do it again. But a remarkable number of technologies were invented as a product of human necessity. Necessity is the mother of invention. And this time we are fighting a war not against the nasty Germans, but against disease, which is also bad. We should, and unlike the Germans, we will eradicate the disease. We let the Germans live. Yes, we did. Messed up, Berlin a bit of a fuss in Dresden, but we let them stay. Now, as for the COVID vaccine, we will eradicate it. And as a German, I say thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Um, uh, God, how do I stop being depressed over this? I'll tell you how. Okay, if this ends up being as bad as some people are saying it is, there is a decent likelihood that you guys are going to get COVID at some point. Borderline inevitable, maybe. But if you are highly vaccinated, if you minimize your viral load by wearing a mask, meaning that if you do come into contact with COVID, you do so minimally. If you keep up with your booster shots, if you take care of your, of yourself, uh, you may get it, be sick for a little while, finish, not experience a tremendous amount of discomfort, not suffer any long-term consequences, and then you can enjoy at least some time period of boosted immunization. Uh, I know it's difficult, but try to think of this positively, okay? Maximize your potential and be thankful that you live in an era where we're even capable of fighting against this stuff. The faster these COVID mutations come out, the faster our pharmaceutical technicians are going to be making vaccines for them. We already have the basic vaccine out, don't we? The Pfizer, the Moderna, what have you. They're going to modify and improve on them faster and faster and faster. Every time edited, modified, improved with fewer trials necessary to reach appropriate levels of FDA approval because the base works. So slight alterations require not as much consideration as an entirely new product. There are geniuses defending us, okay? So do try to take some solace in that. In the meantime, keep yourself safe. Uh, as terrible as this is, as frightening as this can be, um, we are quite privileged to live in this era. Okay? So take some optimism in that, you know? This isn't the Black Plague. We're not going to spend 2 centuries in Europe, marking houses with the blood of sheep to let people know there are infected inside. We're not going to have people with corpse wagons rolling through villages that you have to pile your family members onto. We have people that we can rely on. Yet. Yet. Probably won't. Probably not. Nice. Do we feel perhaps a little bit more okay? Trying to infuse you all with a little bit of optimism. Um, we'll have to see. Actually, there are some people in chat who are asking whether or not this new strain is making me feel more authoritarian. It might actually be making me feel less. The more these mutations develop, the less comparative advantage there is for the vaccinated to live in the presence of the unvaccinated. You know what I mean? To speak a little bit through allegory, it's like if there's going to be like if there's going to be like a tide rising, and it's going to like flood your island, and it's a 1-foot tide, you need everyone to build that 2-foot wall, don't you? Everyone to build that 2-foot wall. You need to build that 2-foot wall, absolutely, or the island's flooded. You're going to lose the foundations inland. But if it's a 10-foot wave coming, and you can't build a 10-foot wall, it suddenly becomes a lot less important to be building anything, really. You should still be getting people to get vaxxed. It's best for everyone. But optically and practically, there's less utility in pressing on the vaccine mandates when it seems like the constantly evolving mutations are going to barrel through everyone anyway. So to put it another way, continue to be very mean to people who won't get vaccinated and make fun of them. But I probably won't talk about it like a ton. We'll have to see how this develops. Yeah. Right, Rivera Life, but in South Africa, right? I mean, eventually, like, it is true that vaccinated people aren't as likely to be the petri dish for any future mutations because it doesn't broil in our body as much. But man, with the global, like, how many people worldwide are even vaccinated? if I'm like, hey, Americans, get your vaccinations, you don't know if you're going to be the person to spawn a new COVID variant. And then like 6 consecutive new variants all come from like Bangladesh, India, South Africa, Mali, you know, you know what I mean? It's like, well, yeah, how do I I feel like the argument holds less weight. We do all need these vaccines though. Isn't South Africa kind of developed? It depends on where you are. Yeah, global vaccine distribution is essential. I'm just saying that it's really about which talking points to focus on. The vaccinated are still protected? No. Well, not protected. You're less likely to get sick, and you're far less likely to get severely sick if you do get sick. But it's not an immunization, you know. Um, about half the world with at least one dose. There are parts of the world that are never going to get a dose. That's kind of blackpilling, isn't it? You know, like there are parts of Africa, Southeast Asia, Central America where they're just absolutely never going to get a vaccine. It's not like the whole world is polio vaccinated, after all. Do vaccines reduce the spread? I've seen contrary info on that. I've seen some people saying vaccines don't even reduce the spread anymore, but then I've seen other people calling those people idiots. I think vaccines reduce the spread a lot, but not as much as they did before Delta came out. Like, it's still useful and valuable because even when you're sick, you have a lower viral load, which means that you're not as prone to infect people around you. But if you're vaccinated, you can still absolutely be a vector to other people, which is a shame.